Good evening. This meeting of the Attleboro Municipal Council will now come to order. Please rise and join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, are all members present?
All members are present.
Thank you. And I will now entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion is in order. So for tonight, and with all of these people here, what I'd like to do is read, to take things a little bit out of order, I'd like to read the mayor's communication first, so that we can officially hear what I believe everybody is here to speak to us about. After we've heard the official word from the mayor, we'll then move on to committee of the whole. So we'll just take things a little bit out of order so that we can hear the official announcement of what I believe everybody's here to talk about. Does that make sense? Is everyone clear on that? All right. So this is to suspend the rules. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. We are now operating under suspended rules. And Madam Clerk, will you start by reading the mayor's communications?
Sure. Dear Municipal Council, I respectfully submit the city's capital improvements program for fiscal year 2027 through 2031, assembled by the Department of Planning and Development. We look forward to working with the Municipal Council in the coming weeks to review the information as submitted. Furthermore, I hereby request a public hearing to be held at the appropriate time. Supporting documents provided.
Thank you. We'll assign that to the Finance Committee and call for a committee meeting on April 7th.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. We will have a
Committee meeting?
public hearing on April 7th, excuse me. Thanks.
2. The City of Attleboro has been notified of its fiscal year 2027 apportionment for the
Point of
chapter.
order. I'm sorry, did we vote on a public hearing or did we vote on a committee meeting?
So
Because
move to have a public hearing on April 7th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Go ahead.
The City of Attleboro has been notified of its fiscal year 2027 apportionment for the Chapter 90 local transportation aid in the amount of $1,896,523.34. Therefore, I hereby request authorization to expend $1,896,523.34 and any other future grant amendments into Fund 3108, Chapter 90 projects for the purpose of funding Chapter 90 eligible projects as approved by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. Supporting documents provided.
Thank you. Public Works Committee.
I respectfully submit for confirmation the appointment of Marcia Smith to fill an unexpired term on the Council of Aging Board, term to expire February 2027. Supporting documents provided.
Human Resources and Veterans Committee.
4. I respectfully submit for confirmation the appointment of Peter Hansen to fill an expired term on the Planning Board, term to expire February 2031. Supporting documents provided.
Human Resources and Veterans Committee.
I respectfully submit communications from the Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance and Director of Budget and Administration Mason Lord requesting an amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, Section 20-8.2 revenues. Currently, the Fire Ambulance Revolving Fund, number 2610, receives 40% of the income generated by ambulance service charges. It is recommended that an incremental shift of this allocation to 50% over a 5-year period to ensure the long-term sustainability of the city's emergency medical services. Therefore, I hereby request the following amendment of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as follows. Strike the existing language under Section 20-8.2 revenues. The city auditor shall establish the Fire Ambulances Fund number 2610 as a separate fund and credit to the fund 40% of the income generated by charges for municipal ambulance service. Replace it with the following. 20-8.2 revenues. The city auditor shall establish the Fire Ambulances Fund number 2610 as a separate fund and credit to the fund a percentage of the income generated by charges for municipal ambulance service according to the following schedule. 40% through June 30th, 2026, 42% effective July 1st, 2026. 44% effective July 1st, 2027. 46% effective July 1st, 2028. 48% effective July 1st, 2029. 50% effective July 1st, 2030, and for each fiscal year thereafter. Supporting documents provided.
Thank you. Ordinances, and I'd like to call for a public hearing on April 7th.
Second.
Counselor Tavares, does April 7th work?
That works.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Park and Forestry Derek Corsi regarding the need for funds for hydraulic repairs of the roadside mower and repairs to the power steering system on our backhoe, maintenance elements such as oil, filters, and other basic maintenance needs, screened loan for seeding and reseeding lawn areas within the parks, 5-hour playground mulch, crushed stone, and riprap. Therefore, I hereby request a transfer $17,000 from account 1650100-511000 Park and Salary and Wages to the following. $5,500 to account 1650100-524240 Park Equipment Maintenance. $7,000 to account 1650100-546010 Park and Supplies Ground. $4,500 to account 1650100-548030 Park Supplies Vehicles. Supporting documents provided.
Public Works Committee?
7, I am pleased to inform you that the city has been awarded a $100,000 Community Compact IT grant for the costs associated with compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act Title II Digital Accessibility Rule Website Accessibility. Therefore, in accord with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request approval to expend such funds and any future grant amendments. Supporting documents provided.
Thank you. Finance Committee?
8. As you may recall, in the fiscal year 26 budget and during the Budget Committee meetings, Director of Budget and Administration Mason Lord and I made clear that fiscal year 26 would be the last year that Capron Park Zoo operated in its current financial structure, as the fiscal year 26 budget reflected a financial sacrifice to other departments and services in order to buy time for a pathway forward to be paved. It was further stated that because of the existing financing model is unsustainable for both the zoo and the city budget, the city must make a decision within fiscal year 26 on how to proceed with the Capron Park Zoo. And in doing so, the administration would be exploring 4 options: funding the zoo on the general fund, reimagining the zoo, privatizing the zoo, closing the zoo. Although this was a very difficult decision, I have concluded that it is in the best interests of the city that we reimagine Capron Park Zoo and do so in a manner that provides financial sustainability, retains the spirit of the zoo, and offers residents and visitors a relaxing and enjoyable and memorable experience. Attached, you will find a transformation plan detailing the steps involved with accomplishing these objectives, and I look forward to working with you as we begin the next chapter of the story of the Capron Park Zoo.
That's a FYI.
9, I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water, Dennis Morton, regarding the needs for funds to cover the cost of hiring outside contractors to respond to emergency water main break repairs. Therefore, I hereby request appropriation of $200,000 from account 6100-359000 Water Enterprise Fund Retained Earnings to account 6100-530101 Water Enterprise Fund Professional Services. Supporting documents provided.
Public Works, and then Madam Clerk, can you continue with the clerk's communication?
Sure. Clerk's communication. We have received the certificate of vote from the Planning Board regarding the petition of 94 County Street LLC to rezone property located on 92 through 104 County Street. More specifically, Assessor's Plat number 32, Assessor's Lot Number 6, from industrial zoning to transit-oriented development zoning. This is to certify that at the Planning Board meeting held on Monday, March 9th, 2026, the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend that the Municipal Council approve the petition. Regarding the petition of 94 County Street LLC to rezone property located on 0 County Street, more specifically Assessor's Plat Number 31, Assessor's Lot Number 237, from central business zoning to transit-oriented development zoning. This is to certify that at the Planning Board meeting held on Monday, March 9, 2026, a majority of the Planning Board voted to recommend that the Municipal Council deny the petition.
That's a FYI.
We have received an application for a Ring the Bell license for Alejandro Arteaga for Pelagi's Ice Cream.
And we'll assign that to the licenses committee.
All right, that concludes the clerk's communication.
Thank you, and now we'll go back and we'll move to committee of the whole. I entertain a motion to enter committee of the whole.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. We are now in committee of the whole. And for this, I just want to tell everyone that everyone's limited to 4 minutes to speak when speaking before committee of the whole. And let's see, so this portion of the meeting is for public comment. Speakers may address topics not on tonight's agenda. Each speaker will have 4 minutes. And with the, I'm assuming most people are here to talk about the zoo. And so with that, that is not on our agenda, so people are welcome to speak about that. So with that said, is there anyone who wishes to address the council on any matters of city business? Welcome, it's been a while.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Mark Cooper. I reside at 149 West Street, and I had the honor and privilege to sit on this body for 11 years. I'm here today because my phone was exploding this afternoon when the announcement was made that something was happening with Capron Park Zoo. So I did a little chat GPT because I wanted to find out what year the zoo actually was started, 1937. Let that sink in. Since 1937, the city of Attleboro has been able to maintain the character and charisma of Capron Park Zoo. There has to be a way. There has to be a way to make this happen for the community. As you all know, Capron Park is in the ward that I represented, and an absolute gem of the city of Attleboro. It's not cheap, and it's not the first time this body has had to talk about things affecting, whether it was membership, whether it was zoo fees, whether it was the animals that we had for the city of Attleboro. So my chat GPT went on a little tirade with me when I asked the year, because it actually recognized that there was some commotion in the city about the zoo potentially closing. And it said that before you get to the decision, you really need to have a transparent process. While I heard some words that were stated tonight through a mayor's communication, I'll be here tomorrow, just so you all know, I'll be here tomorrow to pick up the copy of that, because I'd like to see the plan. If I have to make a formal request, happy to do that, and also happy to lead the charge here. If the mayor cannot bring something forward to make it viable, you need to ask the community. And if the mayor doesn't ask the community, this council needs to ask the community. If the council can't do it, then Mark Cooper's going to do it. And I made a commitment to this honorable body when I left at the last meeting. Those that were on that meeting will remember I said 3 things. I will not be that former counselor that we've all had, that when I call your house, your kids roll their eyes because I'm calling. I don't do that. You call me, and I answer, or I call you back. I told you I'd only come out of retirement for 2 reasons. One was I didn't like the direction of the city, or I didn't like the direction of the council. And I'm here to tell you tonight I don't like either. So please, I'm happy to be helpful in the plot to fix what's going wrong at Capron Park Zoo, but you have to engage this community or you're going to lose the gem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for me?
Any questions?
It's actually not for the speaker. Thank you, President Cooper. I agree with President Cooper. I think I would like to see a public hearing called for. I think a lot of us have been getting calls, and I know it's probably not the appropriate forum. You can point of order me, but I think that this body owes the community at least that much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question too.
Counselor Reynolds, then
I just wanted to say that I'm pretty sure, and I'm knowledgeable about this, that the mayor and Mason are coming down next week.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be watching.
Okay.
Because this is really grinding my gears, I
Yeah,
gotta tell
They
you.
are coming down. There is a plan.
Thank you.
Counselor Holmes?
Thank you. Do you think, could you imagine it just being cut from the budget and then coming down from the mayor to the budget and for us to then either approve the budget for the whole city or not? Do you think that that's an appropriate way for the mayor to handle this?
Well, I think we have to look at what the options are, right? For me to stand here and say one particular option is the best way to go, I'm not prepared to do that tonight. But I will be at future meetings, or call me next week and I'll have a better idea of what my thoughts are. But I was literally out. It is what it is tonight, right? I was out and got phone calls and was talking to others in the audience about what was going on. And so I just think that the time to do it is now, the time to think about it, the time to flip every rock, flip every opportunity, and figure out what we can do as a community to dig deep and figure out what needs to happen to save Capron Park Zoo.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to see you.
Thank you, you too.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council?
Hello, Nick Lavoie, 155 Oakdale Street. Good evening, members of the Municipal Council. My name is Nick Lavoie, and I'm here tonight as a resident who's deeply concerned and frankly embarrassed by the news that the mayor is planning to close the Capron Park Zoo. The zoo is not just another item in a budget. It's a cornerstone of our community. Capron Park's been a part of Attleboro since 1937. Generations of families have grown up visiting it, taking their children there, creating memories that connect people to the city. It's one of the few institutions that truly defines Attleboro. What makes the situation even more troubling is the impact that this would have on our local economy. It's widely reported that 85 to 90% of the visitors coming into the zoo come from outside of Attleboro. It's an economic driver for those visitors to eat at our restaurants, shop in our stores, and support local small businesses here in the city. Closing the zoo would take away one of the few attractions that consistently bring in outside dollars to Attleboro. But beyond the economic impact, there's also the issue of respect. It's disrespectful to the Friends of the Capron Park Zoo, who have recently held a fundraising event for the zoo, for the time they've volunteered, events they've organized, money they've raised to improve and support the facility. Many of you have seen the brand new entrance solely done on donations. To hear talk of closing the zoo and so soon after those events sends a terrible message to the volunteers around our city. It's also disrespectful to the Olivia Knighton Foundation, who's here tonight giving $25,000 to then be told we're going to shut the zoo down. And I'm not speaking for them, it's totally my opinion. It's also disrespectful to the taxpayers of Attleboro, residents who work hard, pay their taxes, support this city, and yet at the same time we hear about giving tax breaks to millionaire developers that Attleboro now can't afford to keep the zoo open. Quite the contradicting statement, and it's difficult for many residents to understand. Capron Park Zoo is not a cost, it's an asset. It brings visitors, supports businesses, educates children, and represents 90 years of local history. I urge this council to take a long, serious look at the value that this brings to Attleboro before allowing decisions to be made that would close it. And let's be clear, the Reimagine is closing it. You can't redevelop it because it's all in trusts. So what do you do with the land? You put a butterfly park, you put a bunch of BS, and you say, well, we did something with the zoo. That's not answers, that's a cop-out. Real leadership finds solutions. If the mayor argues the zoo is too expensive to be ran, we can create a zoo authority, because today, members of the zoo asked, well, can the council do something? They were told, no, the 11 of you cannot do anything. And we all know that is not true. So again, you can create a zoo authority. Many zoos do that in the country. Philadelphia Zoo, Minnesota Zoo, both ran by authorities. The Smithsonian National Zoo is ran by a zoo authority. You can pass a city ordinance requiring that the city maintains the zoo and keeps it open. And if the mayor overrides that and vetoes it, you do so with a 2/3 override. There's the ordinance. You can also do the hard way. You can refuse to approve a budget. Budget year is coming, and that zoo item will be gone. You can restore the funding for that line item, or you can simply play hardball and not allow the budget to go through until the mayor steps down and has an open conversation and not just forcing things down our throat. So I challenge you all to take her up on her words that you can't do anything, and let's see together what the 11 of you can do. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Are there any questions for the speaker? Hearing none. Is there anyone else to speak in favor? Or, sorry, is there anyone else that would like to address the municipal council, please?
Hello, members of the City Council. My name is Casey Ribeiro, and I'm the current curator at Cape and Park Zoo. I have worked for Attleboro and the zoo for the last 15 years. Members of the City Council, we recognize that discussions regarding the potential closure of the zoo are significant and understandably evoke strong feelings across our community. As stewards of a public institution with a long history, we approach this moment with seriousness, transparency, and a commitment to thoughtful leadership. Our focus remains on responsible decision-making grounded in facts, fiscal realities, and the long-term interests of the city and its residents. First and foremost, the welfare of the animal in our care remains stable and uncompromised. Daily operations continue in full compliance with all AZA and USDA standards, and our professional animal care team maintains the highest levels of husbandry, veterinary oversight, and regulatory reporting. Contingency planning, standard practice within accredited institutions, is in place to ensure that regardless of future decisions, every animal placements and well-being would be managed responsibly in accordance with national accreditation protocols. The zoo has long functioned as a valued municipal asset, contributing to education, conservation, tourism, and community identity. We remain committed to working in partnership with the city to carefully evaluate all available pathways. Our goal is to ensure that any outcome reflects both fiscal responsibility and the preservation of public trust in how municipal institutions are governed. We appreciate the council's diligence in reviewing this matter and stand ready to provide data, operational insight, and accreditation guidance as needed. Our shared priority is ensuring that the decisions are deliberate, mission-aligned, and reflective of the community we serve. We remain steady in our leadership and committed to managing the process with professionalism and integrity. With that being said, I would also like to point out some key things. The municipal zoo, such as Cape and Park Zoo, it's not a discretionary amenity. It is operating civic infrastructure that generates economic activity, protects regulatory credibility, and anchors community engagement. It has a strong economic impact. It drives regional visitation and tourism spending, generates earned revenue through admissions, programs, rentals, and concessions. It supports local employment, full-time, part-time, and seasonal. It contracts with local vendors and service providers. It also contributes to nearby restaurant, retail, and park utilization. The zoo functions as an economic multiplier within the municipal ecosystem. The fiscal reality. Closure is not cost neutral. It carries animal relocation and transports costs, severance and HR obligations, site decommissioning and security expenses, loss of recurring earned revenue, long-term maintenance liabilities. In short, it may create a long-term fiscal exposure. Accreditation and risk management. Right now, we are currently accredited by AZA, which is the highest standard of animal care accreditation in this country. We have been proudly accredited for the last 25 years straight. Maintaining AZA and USDA compliance. It protects the city from regulatory risk. It preserves national credibility. It sustains conservation and grant partnerships. It demonstrates governance stability. Destabilization risks reputational consequences that extend beyond the zoo. It also has community infrastructure. The zoo provides STEM education and school partnerships, supports workforce development and internships. It builds conservation literacy and public trust. It serves as a cultural anchor and a civic asset. The bottom line is the relevant policy question is not whether the zoo is a cost center, but whether removing a functioning economic engine strengthens or weakens the city's long-term financial and institutional stability. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speakers?
Yes, I have one.
Councilor Waterman, if you could come back to the podium.
Could you please tell us how many accredited zoos, fully accredited, there are in the state of Massachusetts?
There are 3.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Delissio.
Casey, thank you for your work, thank you for your words. Some of the, like former President Cooper, Mr. Lavoie, I've gotten a lot of phone calls on this. Some of the things that I'm hearing is, you know, we've already lost the AZA accreditation. Is that accurate or not?
Not accurate.
It's not accurate, right?
Nope,
Okay.
not accurate.
And can you just talk a little bit more about, you know, what would happen if this change happens? Because I heard that, you know, a lot of the big animals are at risk of being moved out, which is probably more or less what people are looking forward to seeing.
It's a lengthy process. It's super invasive on moving any animals. We always take in consideration when we're transporting or transferring animals. You know, it may seem like it's a feasible option to, you know, relocate these animals, but there has to be a place that is willing to take them. There are certain animals that cannot and will not ever leave from the zoo, so therefore we would have to have staff take care of them anyways. So it would be a long process.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Actually, before we do that, through a raise of hands, how many people here are here in generally for Caper Park Zoo and in favor of that? Can we get a rough count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Count roughly 40. Is that a?
There's some behind the TV.
How many people do you guys think there are?
All right, we've got it on TV, so we can get a count. Thank you. Now, is there anyone else to speak that would like to address the municipal council?
Hi, my name is Pat Davis. I've been a resident of Attleboro for 20 years. I have one daughter. I did not avail myself of the schools in Attleboro. We decided to send her elsewhere. But I do not appreciate the tax increase to pay for the high school, but I see that as my civic responsibility. But I also think that the zoo is our civic responsibility. I've been a docent, I retired last year, and I'm currently a docent. And just to see the children and what they're learning about conservation, about animals, and to see the animals being cared for, not becoming extinct, and all the wonderful things that they do at the zoo, I really think we have a civic responsibility to keep the zoo alive.
Thank you. Did anyone have questions for the speaker? You're not. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council, please? Just your name and address for the record.
My name is Mary Davis. I live at 27 Level Acres Road in South Attleboro. Sorry, I'm a little nervous to come up here, so bear with me. But, okay, I'm a 23-year-old girl who has lived in Attleboro my entire life. I went to school here. I went to St. John's, like right next to St. John's Church. And I've grown up going to the zoo all my life, and I have always found myself so at peace and so happy to be there, just spending time with the animals, being outside with my friends. And recently, this past summer, I started working here as part of the guest services, and I can truthfully say that I have never met more hardworking people than the people at the zoo. Everyone loves working together, and everyone is really, really into their different departments, and everyone is just so hardworking. Besides that, I also believe that the Cape Run Zoo is a community asset. As I was working here this past summer, I got to log different people coming from different parts of the state and even other states. And I saw so many people coming from the north, from Western Mass, Rhode Island. There were some people from New York, just different parts of the country. And I feel like that shows that Cape Run Park is able to be an outreach to so many different people. And going on to my next thing, people love coming here. I've brought my friends from college in Boston that don't even live in the U.S., and they've come to Cape Ron Park Zoo. They loved it here. They were all just so amazed with how great the zoo is, given how small it is, but they were just all blown away. And no, I'm 23. I'm not super in the know with the exact finances, but there just has to be something that you as a council and the community that we can do. And I know some people, I get it, zoos aren't your thing. I get that. But just because some people don't like zoos doesn't mean that everyone doesn't like zoos. And I firmly believe that Cape Ron Park Zoo is worth saving and helping. So please take that into consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to address the council? And I see somebody online. We can do one person online if. Mr. Kerr, do you have your hand raised?
Yes, I do.
Please.
Good evening, everyone. While I agree with a lot of people that the zoo is very important, I think the city needs to look at this fiscally. The zoo operates fiscally at a massive deficit, between $300,000 and $400,000 a year. And so while there is so much support for keeping the zoo open, what I would implore everyone to do is to put their money where their mouth is. There's 50,000 residents in the city of Attleboro. A zoo membership is $25 a year for an annual pass. If every citizen in the city of Attleboro were to acquire a zoo membership, that would add an extra over $1.2 million in revenue to the zoo on a yearly basis. That would be plenty of money. Like if we look at it right now, the zoo is expecting an average revenue of between $950,000 and $978,000. If there was an extra on top of that, $700,000-800,000, the zoo would not be operating at a deficit. The zoo would not be in a position to be closed. I think there's so many people that want the zoo open for nostalgia, just kind of like the Emerald Square Mall. But the problem is that that mall's dead, guys. And so is that zoo. None of you guys go to it. There are not enough in mass. And if there was, the zoo wouldn't be operating at a massive deficit. The people that work at the zoo, what are you doing to try to generate revenue? Look at Jacksonville Zoo, voted number 4 in the entire country. They're doing special events constantly. You guys have a lion and a friggin' tiger. Have a dinner right outside with the lion and the tiger. Charge $70 a pop and give some alcohol. Boom, you would generate a frig ton of money. But you're not doing it. You're not doing it. This is why the zoo is getting ready to close, because none of you guys want to go to it. So put your money where your mouth is. Buy the zoo annual pass, and then the zoo won't be operating in a deficit and it won't be in a position to close. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Please. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Laura Abrams. I've lived here in Attleboro for over 15 years. When my husband and I were dating almost 25 years ago, we were living in North Attleboro, and when we needed something to do, we would go to the Cape Ron Park Zoo, walk around, look at the animals, and we did this quite often. And then we moved to Attleboro and we had our son, and we continued to go to the zoo because it was a good enrichment place for him. Our son got a little bit older. He was able to attend zoo camp, and it was an enriching experience for him. Losing the zoo would be a huge mistake for Attleboro and for all of Attleboro's future generations. To go to a local zoo other than Cape Ron Park, such as Roger Williams Park or Franklin Zoo, it is almost $35 to $50 per person. That is almost $100 per family of 4, more if you have more children. And then on top of that, while you're at the zoo, those zoos, if you want to have something to eat or get a bottled water or something, there's a premium on that. Capron Zoo has been accessible to all area residents, not just to Attleboro. And we need it to remain that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Angelia Duart. I live at 41 Emery Street. I have lived in Attleboro my entire life. I'll be 30 next month. It's a long time to be here. I have gone to school here. I went to zoo camp at Capron Park. I volunteered with Capron Park. My first job was at Capron Park. I recognize a lot of the faces here tonight in support of Capron Park. I now am a mom of a young child. Capron Park is one of 3 options for me to do something with my 3-year-old in this city. My options are Capron Park, the library, which is an incredible resource, or a soft play place in the Sierra Plaza. Those are my options for my 3-year-old. Capron Park, I'm a Capron Park member. I've been a member. I will continue to be a Capron Park member. I just want to echo the statements that have been said by so many people. I believe it is our responsibility to keep this open. We want to keep building apartment buildings. We want to keep trying to get people to move here, to raise their families here. I can barely afford to stay here, but I do it because it is the best thing for my son. Closing Capron Park is going to make me not want to stay here because I will have nothing locally to do with my son. I could go to another city, another town, and find so many local things to do with him. I am in a mom group of 12 moms. They all come here. We have our joint baby birthday party at Capron Park. They come here specifically for Capron Park Zoo. For the record, they do not have a tiger unless it has changed in the last few weeks. They just have a lion. And they do fundraising, and they do a lot. And I, as a citizen of Attleboro, I try my best to do what I can to help. If there is something more that the community can do to help, I implore you to let us know, because I remember being a teenager fundraising to get Ramses at the zoo. I remember working my entire summer, my whole high school career there with busy down the pathway lines. We can get back to that again if it's not still there, but we need to find a way to do this. I refuse to accept that there is not a way that we can keep this zoo open. It's been open for almost 100 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, anyone else to speak in favor?
How you doing?
Or
Thomas
address the
Brown,
council?
Attleboro
Thank you.
High, 78. I remember back in the day, they had the polar bear. They had raised money, had a bunch of bands at Hayward Field. I'd like to know, I remember reading about 5 months ago, the mayor wanted to add 3 positions, 2 at like 110, 120 grand, 1 for 90. Were those approved? Or no, not at this point?
And this is for you to address the council specifically, so.
So you can't say nothing?
Oh,
I'm saying that's 300 grand that can go towards the zoo. That positions we really haven't had for 100 years.
So those were just added to the books. We're not funding those positions currently.
Okay, all right,
So-
that money could go to it. You could try to have raised money because like the young lady just said, it is an attraction for Attleboro. I go when I can with my mother or whatever, but it's something like really only Attleboro has. And Attleboro is a nice place between Boston and Providence. It's a nice place to live, low crime rate. The police do a great job, firemen. And I think they should try to work, not have just someone make a decision with closing the zoo. It should be put to come up with ideas to raise money and see what we can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Welcome.
John Wright, 53 Oakdale Street, former director at the Capron Park Zoo, was let go a little over a month ago. So I'm a little out of the loop, and it appears that I've been out of the loop for a little bit longer too. I have had the privilege and honor to lead the group, or lead it to the best of my abilities. Councilmember DeLizio, you asked me a couple of months ago, did I get support from council? No. No one came down, no one talked. I was left out of a lot of conversations. I'm here to do the best job to represent the mayor who I answer to. So there were certain things I could share with my staff and lead them appropriately, and certain things that I couldn't. Certain things I didn't even know. The issue comes down to, and I will give Casey kudos, that was very well done. I've only had about an hour to absorb this. So everything she says, the gentleman on the screen, those are bigger zoos. I've built my career on smaller zoos. It's a different purpose. We're better community connected. People come raise their kids, bring their kids to the zoo. You've heard all that. It's a difference between being a corporate zoo that receives millions of dollars in state and federal funding. And they get that because their communities also support them to grow. Businesses feel very successful and confident about donating money when they see support from the community and from council. We didn't get that. The newest building that we have there, the newest real infrastructure we've done was the administration building. You all come in, that's 40 years old and is rated as one of the worst city buildings there is. So it's on the record, look at it. Gentleman over here said $300,000 to $400,000 a year, $100,000 a year. Last year, once again, don't have all the numbers right in front of me, but I believe we just had a deficit of about 10,000. And prior to that, maybe about 100. We were turning the ship. Not because of me, because of all these supporters, all these workers. I've tried not to get emotional because I couldn't lead the way the institution needed to be led. And that goes on to you guys and to my farmer supervisor. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker?
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Welcome.
Hello, my name is Calvin Abrams. I'm 15 and a student at Attleboro High School. I would like to argue against the defunding of the Capron Park Zoo. I personally have not only benefited from this, but I know several people who have. I say not only that should you not defund it, I vote you increase its funding. Making this a more attractive destination would not only lead to a more educated, but a happier Attleboro student mass, given it's right next to the school. That's all. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the speaker? Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Anyone else? Hearing none, I move to, oh, please, welcome. I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Dr. Becca Wetherington. I am the full-time veterinarian at Capron Park Zoo. I'm glad to be here speaking with you today, Council. I haven't had much time to prepare a formal speech for you all, so I apologize that this is a little bit on the fly, but I think there are a few points that really need to be made here that need to be heard by everybody. One is that the proposed plan to transition the zoo is not a plan to transition the zoo at all. This was already pointed out earlier. From what we heard from the mayor earlier today, this is a completely unthought out plan. She has ideas about turning this into a wildlife rehabilitation center without knowing anything about what goes into a wildlife rehabilitation center and the staffing needs, the veterinary needs, the restrictions for the public being able to approach those animals. There are a lot of factors that have not been considered in this plan at all. And I completely believe that this is not a transition plan whatsoever. This is a softening of the blow to entirely close the zoo. And I think it's really important that everybody here understands that. In addition to that, the zoo has 109 animals. About 70 of those animals are either geriatric or have medical conditions. Those animals will not be able to easily be moved out of the zoo to other locations. that the well-being of those animals needs to be the top consideration in whether they can even be transported at all across the country to other zoos in order to be housed. But it's also important to note that a lot of these animals, because of their medical conditions, will not be accepted by other zoos and institutions, and they will still remain here at Capron Park Zoo, and we will have to be staffed with zookeepers in order to keep those animals cared for. In addition, the mayor has claimed complete authority over the decision to do this. And I don't know if everybody here on City Council is aware of that, but she claims that she does not need any kind of support from City Council in order to shut down an entire department. Now, I am personally not aware of the legalities of that, but that certainly does not sound right to me, and I hope that the members of this council here would question that statement as well. The last thing that I want to point out is that in trying to turn this ship around and to have the zoo become more financially stable, we have been given very specific financial goals from the budget department here in City Council. We have been meeting and exceeding those goals. When asked about that today during the meeting where we were informed that we were going to be shut down, we were told those goals didn't matter at all. So I would like to know, why were they given to us in the first place if they don't matter? That's all I have for you today, and I am open to questions.
Councilor Delizio.
Thank you. So thank you for coming out and talking a little bit about that meeting. I think, just want to make sure that I heard you right. In your opinion, your professional opinion, this isn't a plan to re-image the zoo. This is step one in potentially closing the zoo.
That is correct.
Okay. And a follow-up, if I may.
Please.
So in that situation, it's not going to be an immediate, if any, kind of cost savings, because you're still going to need staff, you're still going to need to pay for lights, power, medicine, and correct me if I'm wrong, price of medicine isn't really going down at this point?
It's not.
No, it's going up. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Are
it.
there any other questions to the speaker? Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Has Capron Park ever accepted an animal from a different zoo? And I guess what would that process even entail? Because you're saying that that's not even possible to potentially move any of these animals.
Oh, we do. We accept animals from different zoos all the time, and that is a very key part of us being AZA accredited, is that we are part of a national organization that offers the top tier of care to our animals, and this allows us the ability to easily exchange animals between other zoos. Now, the reason that I am saying this will be difficult for many of our animals is because typically the animals that are exchanged are healthy and young animals. Now, we do have an abundance of healthy and young animals at the zoo, but like I said, probably about half of our animals are either geriatric or do have medical conditions. So for those specific animals, that's information that we have to disclose to any facilities that would consider taking in those animals, and they have every right to say, we are not in the position to take on an animal that has high medical needs, or we are looking for a young breeding animal and therefore we don't have a particular need for a geriatric animal at this point. It's just complications with moving those animals to other facilities.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Councilor Morrissey.
I'm just curious, when did you find out about this meeting that you had with the mayor?
At noon today.
And the meeting took place?
At the zoo.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Delizio.
At that meeting, was there any discussion about the future of the employment of the employees at the zoo?
We were instructed that the zoo would become closed to the public as of Labor Day this year, which I believe is September 7th. After that point in time, we are instructed to start trying to rehome our animals as quickly as possible. And as that number starts to decline, staff will start to be fired because there will be less animals to be cared for in the zoo. Other staff that's not particularly animal care staff they said will probably be fired before that point.
Follow-up. 6 months, is that enough time to quote-unquote rehouse animals?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Other questions? Counselor Waterman.
Can you be a little more explicit about the animals that you don't think probably could get transferred safely to another facility?
Sure. I think a very well-known animal is Ramses, our African lion. He is about to turn 19, 20? He is about to turn 20 years old this summer. The average life expectancy of a lion in the wild is maybe 10 to 12 years old. So he is extraordinarily geriatric. His medical care right now just focuses on keeping him comfortable and just extending his life as long as he has a good quality of life here at Capron Park Zoo. He is an animal that we will not be able to transfer to another zoo. I don't believe that he is stable enough to go forward with that. Beyond Ramses, we have a host of other older animals, including a dwarf caiman, we have a serval, we have an Indian fruit bat, and then there's, of course, animals like we have a whole colony of bats at Capron Park Zoo. They are Rodriguez fruit bats. Bats are very popular animals at zoos in the sense that they have so many of them that they don't know what to do with them. We are going to have a very difficult time rehoming our colony of bats just for the very reason that zoos are saturated and they're not looking to have any more. They're having a hard enough time as it is preventing them from reproducing. So there's a multitude of reasons that quite a few of our animals, they're going to be around for a long time, regardless of what is dictated by the city.
Are there other questions? Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Bob Bassel of Brown Street. I'm with the Olivia Knighton Foundation, which I've met some of you in the past who pushed the wall that we did at the zoo, the butterfly wall for Olivia Knighton, as a remembrance. I was up there for about a month doing the wall with Jen Sunday, and the amount of people that I met, and I'm sorry if I get emotional, but the amount of people that I met in those 30 days was amazing. The zoo's not as busy as we'd like it to be, of course. And the gentleman that was online, he has a lot of great points. Put your money where your mouth is, right? And I think that's, we take from this meeting and from what he said, we do have to put our money where our mouth is. We can't just come up here and bitch and squawk, about and complain about the zoo closing. We need to find solutions to keep it open. You just can't walk up here. Casey is amazing. She should be the new director of the zoo. She does an amazing job. She knows it like the back of her hand. She has a respect of everybody. I know a lot of people in this room, and they came out here to speak their mind and to see what was going to happen. I like the mayor. I thought I had a friendship with the mayor. We've talked, she's actually the one who came up with the idea of the wall at the zoo, and we put it forward. The zoo needs help. I'll agree. But how do we do that? We need the support of everybody, the council, as well as the residents of Attleboro. We can't just sit here and come up here and say, don't do it, don't do it. Well, what's the solution? Let's come up with a solution. I think the gentleman who's online, and I would ask him, I'd love to meet with you, and maybe you have some ideas to get this rolling, to gain momentum. I'm one of the volunteers for the Olivia Knighton Foundation. We help with Jocelyn and the Friends of Capron, Jen, they're here tonight. We need more volunteers at the zoo. Not everything's gonna cost money at the zoo to make it look better, to help it. The plantings, we're planning a time to go up there within the next couple weeks to do plantings, cleanup, landscape. Parks and Recreation doesn't have the crew. They don't have the help. I mean, they need help, never mind giving it to the zoo. So we as volunteers, and I'll put it out there, anybody watching this, you wanna become a volunteer, please reach out. Reach out to Jocelyn and the Friends of the Zoo. Help, we need help, as you can see, we need help. There's some painting that I gotta do. We just did 2 bathrooms last year. myself and Jeff Kingsley, we volunteered our time. Lowe's and Home Depot donated the paint. And I think the problem with the zoo is we don't ask. We don't ask for help. There's so many people that would be out there that would help us if we just asked. Sponsorships. Olivia Knighton Foundation gave $25,000 to the zoo, which is still in a reserve fund, from what I'm told. And they're going to have say where that money goes. If the zoo closed, we'll be asking for that money back. Want to be on the record. We don't want the zoo to close. Olivia loved the zoo. She loved animals, butterflies, all that stuff. And there's many kids that do. Like I said, I met so many people. The other day, I think it was last Tuesday, they did $5,000 at the zoo on a March day. Unheard of, correct? Unheard of. This can keep on going if we help it. We can't just sit here and complain about it. We got to do something to help it. So I implore everybody, put your money where your mouth is. The gentleman on the line, come and buy your membership. They are cheap. They're $25, is that correct? $25 for a year membership. You can come and go anytime. Bring your kids, walk around. Or if you just want a safe place to walk, great place. I see the elderly people coming up. Other people, I met some people, Rob, the person from, what was she from? The Gronk or something Foundation? People with special needs come up there. They walk around, they love it. They want to volunteer to pick up stuff. This is the wrong, the mayor, I get it. She's got a budget. It's in a deficit. Where do we get the money from? The easiest place? Let's take it from the zoo. That's BS. Stop looking for easy ways, okay? Let's do something. Let's put our money where our mouth is and stop this and help this. Volunteer. We need people to come up and paint, clean, do all these different things that Rob and Lino don't have time to do. Everybody's stretched. Appoint someone to the zoo, and John, no disrespect for you, but we need someone up there that has the respect and the ideas to move this forward. Special events he talked about, absolutely right, and they're creating special events this year. There's going to be a car show. There's going to be some other things that come along the line. So we are trying to do, and I say we because it's a community, that we want to do at the zoo to help the zoo move forward, funding. We're not just going to say, oh, let it happen, or, we're not going to do anything about it. We're here to do something about it. And I'm asking all you guys, all the council members, to come and have lunch. I will pay for your lunch. Come and have lunch at the zoo. Meet the people of the zoo. Because a lot of you haven't come up in I don't know how long, if ever. Come see the zoo. But then you'll know why we're all fighting for this.
Thank you. Are there any
I
questions
thank
for
you
the
all.
speaker?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Please.
Stephanie Paquette, 54 Jewel Avenue. I've lived in Attleboro for 22 years, and I can walk to the zoo from my house. And this past summer, I finally got a job working at the zoo, doing the summer programs. And I guess maybe this will be my second and last summer doing the summer programs. But honestly, the education department at the zoo is probably the biggest asset that you have to advance the zoo and to let families know what a beautiful and incredible resource you have in the city of Attleboro. But over the past couple of years, or maybe since COVID, that department has been reduced to one person. And that's not me. I'm volunteering like 4 hours a week or more to help this single person do all the things that she needs to do, because this person has to book all of the birthday parties and organize all the birthday parties. She's also in charge of running and with the help of the operations folks, all the special events that are at the zoo. So Zoo Boo, that's on her. I don't know, my mind is blanking on those right now because I only have 4 minutes and I'm nervous. So she has to plan those things and get all the volunteers for those. She's in charge of the docents, training them, keeping track of their hours and making sure that they do all of the things that are on her special checklist. She has to write all the curriculum, and in the case of February vacation, she had to run the program herself. So she has to do all these things in addition to booking school visits to the zoo and to do outreach programs in the Zoomobile. This is one human being. And she lives far from here and her kid is sick. So she's not here and I'm here in her place. I love working at the zoo. I want to quit my teaching job and work at the zoo. And I think you're really missing out on a very valuable resource to close the zoo and not fund the education of the zoo. That's all.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker?
Oh, good.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? And I can't see over to the left, so please. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Bill Bowles. Used to be a member of this illustrious body. I may not be operating on all the information because I haven't seen the communication, but my understanding is that the mayor wants to close the zoo. And I said, gee, there's got to be something that the mayor just can't go in and do that without any communication. So I looked at the city charter, chapter 7, or article 7-2. And if you're not aware of it, let me just say that the mayor cannot add a department or cannot eliminate a department without the approval of the council. And the way that that's supposed to work is that if she has a reorganization plan, she should be sending that reorganization plan to the city council. The city council, within 30 days, would be required to hold a public hearing. And after the public hearing, if they agreed with the mayor's reorganization plan, I think it's something like 16 days, they'd have to render their opinion. And in this vote by the city council, it's not subject to what we know as the charter objection thing, and it would have to be approved exactly as what the mayor has requested. In other words, she can't request to do something and the council says, well, we'll approve it, but not in its entirety. You have to vote for it as presented. And so if you're not aware of that, I would implore you to do that, to take a look at that Article 7-2. And what she's trying to do, if I'm understanding that correctly, is to reorganize the zoo. And that's the exact language that's in that article. So you have within your control the ability to decide whether this goes or does not go. And I would hope I'd be standing with 11 of you that would say, we're not going to solve our financial problems that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Anyone else? Hearing none, I move to adjourn from Committee of the Whole.
Second.
Motion is in order. All those in favor? Aye. We are now adjourned from Committee of the Whole, or out of Committee of the Whole. One thing I'd like to say with all of that, in a conversation with the mayor this morning, I did invite her, like Councilor Reynolds said, I did invite her and the budget director to come before us, and we'll hold a special full council meeting before committees next week, and for her to specifically address us and have a conversation about this, the zoo. With that said, for that special council meeting, I will allow new business to be introduced on that day, so what was sent before us does not have anything for us to currently vote on. So there isn't anything for us to vote on with what's before us. With that said, if anybody would like to introduce new business for Tuesday, I would welcome that, and whether it's a resolution or if anybody has suggestions for how to move forward, feel free to do that, or you can introduce it for the following week. But I will allow new business next week in addition to hearing from the mayor. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? Hearing none. All right. We can move on to committee reports. And we'll start with Councilor Angelo. Councilor Angelo?
There's no business for human resources, and I call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Waterman?
There's no business for traffic and transportation. I will also call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Sawyer?
Reporting for Zoning and Land Use and Sustainability Committee. On the docket of February 3rd, 2026, I move to approve a zoning petition from 24 County Street LLC to rezone 92-104 County Street from industrial to transit-oriented development.
Second. Just a point, did you say 94 County? I feel like you said something else. I couldn't hear you.
92-104. 94 County Street LLC is
It's a petition from 94
them.
County Street.
Yes.
Motion's in order. Are there any comments?
I just want to make a comment. What we received from the clerk's communication was what we had talked about and voted on in committee last week.
Can we quiet down? Thank you. Proceed.
Last week we had voted in committee to make an amendment to the motion to what it stands now, to rezone 92-104 County Street and not 0 County Street, which is the parking lot.
Does everyone understand that? This was amended from the two parcels that we had before us previously. Are there any other questions or comments? Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. I was speaking to somebody from the Historical Commission, and I think they're just hoping to have a seat at the table. I think that this developer did a great job of hearing us about the parking challenges, and this is just simply a rezoning. But if they could be included, just trying to connect them with the Economic Development Director and with developers to understand that some of these buildings do hold value. But I understand that it's not a good place for an industrial building at this point. So, so just wanted to kind of give that perspective.
Thank you.
Close my comments.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor Angelo.
All right, Mr. Angelo.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer.
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Vice President Dolan.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey.
Yes.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
President Kobus.
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Motion passes. Sorry.
And that concludes the business of the Zoning, Land Use, and Sustainability Committee, and we'll have a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor McIntyre.
Economic Development and Strategic Planning has no business this evening. I would call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting for Public Safety and Emergency Management Committee from the docket of March 17th, 2026. I move to appropriate $527,625 from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account fire overtime for overtime funding to cover the full-time staffing of Rescue 4 for the remainder of fiscal year 26.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion's in order. Are there any comments?
We discussed it in committee.
Thank you. This requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor Delicio.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer? Yes. Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
President Cobus?
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes the business. Call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Vice President Dolan?
Thank you. Reporting for Public Works Committee, I have one motion from the docket of March 17, 2026. I move to transfer $14,788.65 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Public Works HVAC Services for funds to replace the NO2 and CO2 sensors and mass air unit at 101 Lamb Street.
Second.
Motion is in order. Any comments?
No comments. We discussed in committee.
Any other comments? Hearing none, that requires a roll call vote, starting with Counselor Angelo.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer? Yes. Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
President Cobus?
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Motion passes.
That's all the business for Public Works Committee, and I call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Counselor Reynolds?
City Property and Claims has no business this evening, but I would like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Morrissey?
Thank you. For the License Committee, we have one item tonight from the docket of February 17th, 2026. I move to approve a new Class 2 auto license application from B&A Prime Rental, Inc., 19 Franklin R. McKay Road, with 4 storage spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
No, I went by just to double check. A lot of the stuff was gone, just as he said it would be. We discussed everything else in committee.
Perfect. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
That concludes business for the License Committee. I will call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Tavares?
Thank you, President Cobus. From the docket of February 17th, 2026, rather, for the record, reporting for ordinances, elections, and legislative matters. From the docket of February 17th, 2026, I move to amend Section 1-9, Time and Place of Municipal Council Meetings of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to add the following. 1-9.4, no regular meeting of the municipal council shall be held on any day on which a municipal, state, or federal primary or general election is conducted within the city. Any regular meeting otherwise scheduled for such a day shall be postponed and held on the call of the council president at the next appropriate time, and the meeting shall be treated in the same manner as if the meeting had fallen on a legal holiday.
Second.
Motion is in order. Counselor Tavares?
I have no additional comments. We discussed in committee.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, starting with Counselor Delicio.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer? Yes. Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
President Cobus?
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Motion passes.
The docket of September 2nd, 2025, I move to amend Section 2-19, Economic Development Incentive Board of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to add the following. 2-19.10, public hearing required for tax increment agreements.
Second.
Motion's in order.
We discussed this in committee as well. I have no further comments.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, starting with Counselor Angelo.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer? Yes. Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
President Cobus?
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Motion passes.
And that concludes all the motions of ordinances, elections, and legislative matters. We call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Delicio.
Thank you. Reporting for Finance Committee, from the docket of March 17th, 2026. Move to transfer $15,000 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Mayor's salary wages to replenish funds for the earned time buyout of an employee in the Mayor's office.
Second.
Motion is in order.
I have no comments to be discussed in committee.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, starting with Counselor Delicio.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer? Yes. Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
President Cobus?
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of March 17th, 2026, I move to appropriate $183,016 from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to citywide streetlights to replenish funds used to purchase Microsoft 365 and licenses along with system support.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order.
I have no comments. We discussed this in committee.
Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, starting with Counselor Angelo.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
President Cobus?
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of March 17th, 2026, I move to transfer $11,400 from account citywide reserve fund for transfer to account mayor part-time to fund the special projects coordinator position until the end of June.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order.
I have no comments.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, starting with Counselor Delicio.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
President Cobus?
Yes.
We have 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Finally, from the docket of March 3rd, 2026, I move to approve the funding of the cost items contained within the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Attleboro and the City of Attleboro Firefighters Local 848 IAFF for the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2029, fiscal 27 through 29, and the inclusion of such cost items in any proposed budgets presented to the municipal council prospectively.
Second.
Motion is in order. Any comments?
We discussed last week.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, starting with Counselor Angelo.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares? Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
And President Cobus?
Yes.
That is 11 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. That completes the business for the Finance Committee. I'd like to call for meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. And we have no old business. We have one item of new business. And I don't know, do you have the new business? Okay. Vice President Dolan?
To approve the reappointment of Michael St. Croix as Assistant City Auditor.
Second.
Motion is in order. This is just to,
Central Study and Recommendation.
yeah, and we'll just direct this to the personnel committee, excuse me. And this is for the auditor, the assistant auditor, excuse me. Are there any announcements? Counselor Sawyer?
So we have to vote on this one.
Oh, excuse me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none?
Aye.
Motion passes. Counselor Sawyer, any announcements?
Yeah, I wanted to make an announcement that there will be the 2 community meetings. These are not public hearings, but these are the community meetings for the wetlands protection zone expansion to 50 feet. And that would, those are on this Thursday, March 19th at 7 p.m. here in Council in City Hall. And then also on March 30th, 7 p.m., same place, here in City Hall.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements? And I'll just remind everyone that we'll have the mayor and the budget director before us next week at 7 p.m. Anything else? Hearing none, I move to adjourn at 8:18.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Just want you to be aware